morning, Rabbi Isai. What happened before is before. It's just it's new energy right here. Hayoim, Shiva Vesrim Yoim, Shem Shlosha Shavuos, Vishisho Yomim, Lo Oimer, Boimer. Lili Nishmas, Imi Moros, Yerusvas Mordechai. The Siyum, tomorrow night in Bnei Brak, in Armanot Chen, 2 halls. We're taking 2 halls. Usually there's 2 weddings there, side by side. Come one, come all. I heard a rumor that Nachman Seltzer is going to be there.
Don't believe everything you hear.
Sponsored by Chazdei Naami and Nathan Kamiansky, Kakal, Adar Global, Lili Nishmas, Gershom Yaakov, Lefur Shlema, Rivka Naomi, Bas, Elisheva Batya. We're going to have a live demonstration of how to make Shtei HaLechem, which is, I guess, similar to the Lechem Aponim in size, and not exactly the same way they do it, but it's going to be very interesting with the oven and the whole thing. We're going to be baking. Siyum, Lakewood, Jackson, Toms River, and beyond. I just saw that, maybe it's not the first, but yesterday they had a little ad encouraging Hebrew speakers to come to Toms River to the location they're doing. So there's a Siyum there, Siyum in Cleveland, Toms River satellite location. What's the one? What do we have here? Okay.
No, there's no nothing.
La Falafel Plus in Montreal. In Montreal, our boys' side, Montreal, Siyum. Oh, here it is, the shir in Hebrew, in Toms River. Rabbi said this, I saw this here as I'm sitting down. 19 people joined the Daf, amazing. MDY booth, Montreal, Jewish Expo. Thank you to Isaac Blackman for sponsoring. 19 people are going to get Torah in their life. And Shalom Goldstein for his recruiting finesse. MDY bot, if you download this bot, you can get all these videos that I'm showing now and all the videos I showed yesterday from private people or the professional ones. Rabbi said, here's one. This guy is up in the air, snapping. This is what he does for a living. He cleans windows here in Eretz Yisrael. We have the Rosh Ha'ir, but it's in Hebrew, so we go right there. Actually, it's very, very short.
במפעל האדיר של הרב אלי סטפנסקי, כאן בעיר בית שמש, שיהיה בהצלחה גדולה.
All right, there's already 44 people signed up. I gotta say, there's 2 officials in our share. They're both very instrumental. This official, the original, the caterer from Baltimore. And then you have Meyer, not Mayor, Meyer Fischel. The Shas is the Meyer Fischel. So if you're interested in joining this program and receiving $1,000, do not call up Meyer Fischel. His phone is blowing off the hook. Call Fischel in Baltimore. 2 different people. Now, if you want a brand new Chulin Gemara, do not call Rafal Stefansky. He's not related to Eli Stefansky. He's different. So these 2 Bachurim, Mickey Cooper and Yossi Reich from Beitar Lit, I thought they did a phenomenal job. Both in Hebrew and in English. You get to see from their English that they're Israeli Americans, but check this out. Good morning, Rabbi Isai.
So the season has come. Soon we're learning a new Masechta, and all the statuses are flooded. Join MDY, learn Chulin, join the Daf. And you might be asking yourselves,
tell me, why do people like MDY so much?
Because it's the funnest way to learn. Rebelli explains the Gemara in the clearest way you could find.
But what if I don't like learning?
There's no such thing as a Yid who doesn't like learning. There's a Yid who hasn't been taught the right way. Take Ari Chaimovitz, for example. He hated learning. And now he's addicted.
But what if I think MDY isn't for me, isn't to my ashkafa?
Here is your biggest mistake. The Torah belongs to all Israel. All views, all ages, everyone. We got Yerushalmis that walk around with zebra. We got soldiers that survive the IDF. We got Hasidish Balebatim like Yossi Klan. We got Kola guys that come out of the best yeshivas like Mendy Oyerbach. We got the Kibbutz meat. We got people that keep mitzvahs just because MDY. We got people like Benny Rodnik who sold their business just to become part of the staff of MDY. We even have Rosh Yeshivas like Rabbi Dvorin who could give entire Shiurim Klalim, but they enjoy to learn 1 hour a day with MDY. So there's no reason for you to feel different in our family.
Tell me, but what if I don't have time to learn?
Who doesn't have any time? How much time are you on the phone? How much time are you driving, moving around? How much time you stop sitting bored? And even if you only have 10 minutes here, 15 minutes here, at the end of the day, you have a daf in your hand. And if you really don't have the time, just for that, we have nothing but a daf. It takes the next year to have the time. So there's no reason for you not to join Chulin right now. With live demonstrations and funny art, the shiur is more tempting than ever before. So join now and re-experience learning like you haven't experienced ever before.
Kol hakavod lo. Beautiful. Rabbi said, this is a top. This is one of my favorite also. That guy was good. Very, very good. Yeah. Rabbi said, check this out. My favorite part of this is the beginning, the shiur that he's listening to. That's my favorite part.
So there's two pipes. There's the kanet, there's the veshet. Birds have a veshet and cows have a kanet. No, wait. They both have both. Sorry. The kanet is the food pipe, and the veshet is the wind pipe. Right. I might have confused the two. Yes, sorry.
Welcome to the special guest. It's great. You came just in time. Here we go.
Huh? Who? Meir Sabach? Meir Sabach. This is my favorite picture. The cow on the table. Here's another one. Rabbi say they're coming in. They're coming. Rabbi say they're coming in. This happened yesterday.
לפעמים בחיים, כשאנחנו רוצים לעשות משהו, אנחנו פוחדים, אנחנו נתחיל, מה יהיה? בוא צריכה חופשית. מקבלים החלטה ופשוט עושים את זה. חברים, אני קורא לכם להצטרף אליי לדף היומי. לשיעור מתחילים מסכת חדשה, מסכת חולין ביום שישי. זה פשוט תענוג, זה פשוט כיף. בואו, תצטרפו אליי, שווה כל רגע.
רבוי סי, מתחילים מסכת חולין ביום שישי. פשוט.
All right. This is Stam. This is not Stam. This is in Lebanon. Guys learning Torah under all conditions. It's Mechayavos.
יין נסכים. כמה זה מינימום? 3. יפה מאוד.
Whatever Rabbi Savusana is just arrived at a very special, discreet location.
Stop.
The Bodapak satellite location, the main one. Let me show you inside.
It's 9 minutes into the show. Have an hour. Relax. Enjoy.
It's changed my life. Start Menachos Chulin, it will change your life too. This video is supposed to be like yours. For better videos, learn Daf Yomi with MDY.
Just left. 1 second. When did you start the Daf?
About 4 years ago.
About 4 years ago. What about you?
Started Shvius Daf Dalet.
Shvius Daf Dalet. What about you?
Kiddush Daf Bayis.
Kiddush Daf Bayis. What about you?
Hodius Daf Bayis.
Hodius Daf Bayis. Look at these guys. This guy started 3 days ago, and this guy started 2 days ago. Good evening, Rabbi Sai. My ears are gone. I forgot the most important part. If these Bochrim can come after a full yeshiva seder and sit down at night and make the daf, what is your excuse? Sign up today.
Well, that's where I did the siyum, in that room over there. Well, actually, no, the siyum was upstairs by Rabbi Kaf. But it's happening, Rabbi Isai. We're going to Spanish.
Estoy súper emocionado. Mis amigos de México y todos los hispanoparlantes.
It's happening. This starting cool. It's going to be amazing. And, hold on. This we did already. All right. One last one, Mendy. This one.
אז חבר'ה, חזרתי. הנה הסיבות למה להצטרף ל-MDY. אנרגיות בשמיים, אש בשיעורים, מוקדי צפייה יש, איורים הכי טובים, ההמחשות הכי טובות, המגידשור הטוב ביותר, כיבוד קל יש, צ'ון ביום חמישי יש. בקיצור, יש את כל המעטפת למה להצטרף ל-MDY. אז חבר'ה, אין מקום לדחות, יש מקום לעשות, אין מקום לתירוצים, יש מקום לסיפוקים. יום שישי אנחנו מתחילים חולין, ואתם איתנו, לא משנה מה. כמו שרב אלי אומר, אל תהיו גרשונים, תהיו נחשונים, תקפצו למים! דרך אגב זה קשה, ומשהו מאוד חשוב, זה ישנה לכם את החיים. חולין, אנחנו מגיעים!
He told me he did 6 takes for this. Yalla. Let me show you the emails that I'm not reading. I'll just show them to you. Okay, here we go. Svir Saimer, Lefurs Admar Mevish Shlita, Svir Saimer, Ovadia Unar Ergalimidi, in honor of all Yishur Koyach, Ovadia. MDY Coffee Corner, Kvodat Tefillah Committee, Dalef Nemiat Ta'omed. Official edition MDY Shas, the Masechta by the Iranian Levi families, Perik Anonymous, Lilishmas Nochem Tzvi ben David Sholhoif. Zichron Levracha. Anonymous. Oh, I was supposed to say that the Montreal thing is not Siyum, but it's a satellite location. Be'ezer Hashem. Wish you a lot of tzlacha. Daf Kuv Ches, Anonymous, with gratitude to Rabbi Yamin Sharf for sharing the joy of the Daf with his family. Yishur Koyach. Masechta sponsors David Salomon, dedicated memory of Avimari Reb Shmuel Baruch Ben Reb Chaim Tzvi Doiv Zichron Levracha. We are looking for more corporate sponsors like this e-copier. The Masechta sponsors Joel Gedalis, Lili Nishmas, my father Jack Gedalis. Anonymous, Atzlach Baruch Zivigashmi is the Palchik Family Foundation, Zech Nishmas, Rav Agoy Reb Shlomo, Palchik, the Meshitzi Eloi. Anonymous for 4 Shlema, Moshe Ben Nizah. Anonymous for complete for 4 Shlema, and Arichas Yom, Talea Bas Esther, Yisrael Malki. Toivli Torah Spicham Alvi Zov Chesed. We're so proud of you, Yaakov Mordechai. Keep steiging. The Masechta sponsor, Sending Gross and family in Cami Island, UK, in honor of Reb Eli, you changed my meaning of life. Plenty of Almighty, Yossi, Mark, and Benny, and all those Yiskim Tzorchei MDY. Monthly sponsors, Ari Simon, the Refuah Shlema Avi Moiri Baruch Ben Miriam, MDY Kids, Innovations LLC as a schus for Akiva Simcha Ben Feiga and Rivka Yehuda's Bas Yafachayo. Daily sponsors Ben Zion Kelman for the merit of Osher Lemel Ben Feiga Dina Refuah Shlema Amen. Anonymous, Refuah Shlema Litzchak Ben Shendel B'Toich Shar Choyli Yisrael. MDY Art Month, Refuah Shlema Yonatan Ben Mishav Bracha, Refuah Shlema Mordechai Ben Esther, Refuah Hayela Daniel Zev Ben Ayelet Esther. Rabbi Isai, we're holding 8 lines from the bottom of Kuf Zayin Omid Beis. Tanan awesome. We spoke about these shofaros. These are the different pushka boxes. There's a beautiful picture here that Yoshi put together. This is the inside, the cutaway view of this box, so you can't put your finger in there and try to steal money. And even has like the old style shekel kind of stuff. Okay. There are 6 out of the 13. 6. Keneged me, Shisha l'nadava keneged me. So we have 6 shitos. We'll see one after another. Easy shitos. Easier Gemara today. Siman, Kenaz Pasha. If you have a different siman in there, you might want to change it to Kenaz Pasha. Omar Chizkiya, these are the Amoraim who give us a reason. Omar Chizkiya, Keneged Shisha Batei Avos, Hakoyhanim, Shetiknu Lohem Chachamim, Sheyashalayim Zemzeh, should make peace. You should sit and talk for hours and make peace. Rabbi Isai, these are the Kohanim, right? The Kohanim are divided into 24 mishmaros, 24 groups. Each one of those 24 groups gets to serve in the Beis Hamikdash. These are the names. If you look closely, you'll see Malkiah, Charim, Aviyah. Okay, 24 groups. Each group gets a week. After 24 weeks, it starts all over again. If If you take 1 week, they divide that mishmar of that week into 6 days. So each 24 is divided into 6. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. On Shabbos, they all get together. What might happen is, one day, on let's say Monday, there's a ton of animals. People are bringing in animals, everybody's coming. The kohanim, they get the hide, they get the leather. There's a rainy day, and only one guy brings the carbon that day. So what happens? So he's going to open up the pushka, and he's going to use more money out of the pushka, out of the shofar, for Ketz HaMizbeach. People didn't show up. You can't have a lull on the... Bekitzer, so what happens is, comes a jealousy between the different days. You used up all the money out of the pushka. You have all the special leather stuff. Why? It's yeah. Yeah, it becomes chulin. Even the case is leather. I can't say that, but yes. Only 2 out of the 3 letters. He has 1 lousy piece. The kids are okay. So that's the problem. So what they did is every day gets their own amount of money. You can't complain. The ikir is this should be shalom. Let's prevent a machlokes, that there shouldn't be lechatchila any issues. Remember, I'm throwing this out there. I hope I'm saying I don't say anything stupid. When I first got married, my father-in-law comes to me and says, "I got to buy you a shofar, a menorah." I'm like, "Why?" He says, "Because I bought your brother-in-law a menorah. I don't want any machlokes. I want everything to be equal." So I just went to him. I said, "So why did you buy him a mansion?" And I didn't get. No, I just. Rabbi Yochanan Amar, my brother-in-law, Baruch Hashem, yeah. No, it's a good eitzah. It's a good eitzah. No machlokes between the kids. Every kid gets the same. Equal. There's a guy in this room that told me that there's a big problem in his mishpacha because one kid, the father helped out another kid a little bit more than his own spouse, and there's a big problem in the mishpacha. Big. There's what is it called? Not jealousy or resentment. That's the word I'm looking for. Resentment. Why do you give him not? So I told him entitlement this that, but it doesn't help. At the end of the day, resentment is a resentment. Yeah. Zog the Gemara. There's so much money coming in, so we need a lot of pushkas. Why? And in those days, the money would go bad. If it was just laid around, it would become a little rusty and moldy. Now, what? You could see in the picture. Okay. Here, you see the green stuff. Now, if you keep on pulling out from one area of the pushka, so the bottom part is just going to stay. Keep on piling it in like the milk, like we discussed already, the milk in a supermarket. If you keep on just taking from the front and not from the back, then you're going to have an issue. So what you do is you make 6 different pushkas, and they use one, then they use the other, I'm assuming, and they keep on going from one to one. So there's a constant rotation of the money. What? You rotate, you don't let it sit there. Uziria ma third pshat, keneged par ve'egel. You need 6. Why? Because in fact there are 6. In this picture you have 7, so just ignore one of the sheep over there. But there's 6 types of korbanos. Par, an adult cow, ve'egel, and the calf. Ayel, the adult, ve'keves, and the sheep, the younger one. Gdi, a mature goat, v'sar, and the baby. So there's 6. So you need. Now, v'rebi, but this only goes according to das yachid, which the Gemara says we don't like that so much. It goes according to Rebbe that we had yesterday. you need 6 types of pushkas, because if somebody donates a small sheep, he cannot bring an aisle. Even though an aisle is more valuable, so I need a special pushka for aisle, a special pushka for tle, a special pushka for egel, a special. What do Chachamim hold? So that would be a machlokes rishonim. Rashi says Chachamim would hold all you need is 3 out of the 6. You need 1 adult for each one. You need the par, the aisle, and the A's, whatever, the adult goat. Why? Because Rabbanan hold, once you give the more expensive one, you yoytze even this one. Taisa says no, all you need is 1 pushka. I could give a giant cow instead of a small sheep, as the Gemara says later. But that's machlokes Rashi and Taisus. Okay. Ubar pada Omar keneged haparim va'elim. You need for the extras. The parim would refer to the parim davar when Bezin makes a mistake and they tell Klal Yisrael that they can do certain things, such as eating a type of chaylev when they're not allowed, and then they find out they made a mistake. So all of Klal Yisrael gets together, they buy 1 par. And the leftover of that money, if it got lost, va'elim, and these are the goats for a sham ilos, a sham gzeilos. A sham ilos would be if somebody uses something in Beis Hamikdash, you would have to pay another chaimish, plus he has to bring a carbon. So you have a special shayfer for it, vakvasim, vasirim, these are sham nazir, mitzayra, that got lost. What happens? You replace it, and then you find the original. What do you do with the original? Girachi stavi, send it to Kevisla, you take the money, you put it in the pushka. V'amoisaros and leftovers, which the Gemara is going to point out. Everything we just mentioned, really, parim, elim, kvasim, sirim is moisaros, really. V'hama, ma is the cowboy. Another, everybody in Klal Yisrael brings 1 machzas shekel. For what? What do we do with the money? We buy the korbanos. The Beis Hamikdash is the tamid sheshachar, tamid shel ben arbayim. Now, a machzas shekel might not be, maybe it's slightly rubbed off, from the usage. So you always add a tiny amount, Shalom Aleichem, welcome, come inside, come. A little tiny amount more, called a kalboin, a little, maybe up to a ma. So you give the machzas shekel plus a tiny coin. Says Rashi, interesting thing, Taisus really doesn't like what Rashi says, but we go with Rashi. Rashi says, and what if partners bring 1 shekel? So, theoretically, a shekel for 2 people, it might be rubbed off the same way a half a shekel is rubbed. So you should bring 1 kalboin for the shekel. But then it comes out that the Beis Hamikdash is losing out its ma. So bring another ma. But that's not really the same as the first ma. The first ma is like part of the machzas shekel. The second ma, you decided that Bezin shouldn't lose out. Is that because it got rubbed out? Because you want to bring it? So put that in a special shayfer. That shutfas, full shekel, that you really have to bring 1 ma, or kalbon. And you're bringing 2 kalbon, so the second kalbon, put it in a special shayfer. So until now, we're just stopping here before we get to all the pshatim. Oh, Seirim, by the way, I didn't explain. Seirim are the sar of Musaf of Yantiv, which comes to be mechaper for Tumas Mikdash Kedosh. We had a whole sugi about it. Okay. Kuluk Yechizkiel Yamri. Chizki says the peace. We want Kohanim to be in peace, so each day gets its own shofar. We're not so worried about fighting. Why? Everybody's busy with his day. Not so worried what happened the day before, who got more leather, less leather. Seder. Just realized, the Gemara says somewhere that at a certain point, the Beis Hamikdash decided not to give the leathers, the hides, to the Kohanim. They weren't behaving or something, so they took it. And they had so much money from it that they were able to plate the entire Beis Hamikdash with like a thick gold plate. So in other words, these hides have value. You can see why people fight over it. I'm not concerned about money going bad. I don't need 6 shofars for that. Kizir le'amri, he says what? You need the 6 types of animals. There's the par, egel, this picture. That only goes if you hold, like Rebbe, that if you bring a large animal instead of a small animal, you're not yaitza. He says, no. That's Rebbe. That's Shitas Rebbe. It can't be that this whole Mishnah goes according to Das Yachid. The top of the Sama, the Kvasim, Seirim, it's all. Moisaris, Kulinam Moisaris. The first 4 things in his list, Parim, Elim, Kvasim, this is all about having leftover. So I don't need a special shofar for leftovers when all 4 things are leftovers. Kulinam Moisaris. Ma, and then he says, oh, but you need a special shofar in case there's partners who brought 1 shekel. Ma Nami Lishkol Mazla. It's not true that extra kalboin goes into the Maksas Shekel Pushka. The Sanya, Lahechim Kalboin Zohaylach. Where does it go? L'shkolim the Remeir. Okay. So you have a machlokes. I'm going to get into a machlokes to Remeir and Rebbe Eliezer. No, it doesn't make sense. Ushmul Omar Nupshat. So we dealt with those first pshatim that we had. Now we have 2 that are very, very similar. They're off by 1 thing only. Shmuel Omar Keneged Moiser Chatos. If a person, let's say, designates $100 for his chatos, halavai $100, right? Today, and the guy had a whole website. You could calculate your carbon, how much you owe for carbon if a woman gives birth. Oh, whatever, $500 minimum, right? I don't know how much a sheep costs. At least $500. How much? Sheep. No, 1,000 is too much. 2,000 shekel maybe. Yeah. Right. So it's like 10% of a 10% of a cow.
A ewe is 400 to 400, and a lamb is 75 to
$200. Okay. Kids, you're not going to get one for $200, but if you go anywhere now, maybe in New Zealand or something. Okay, fine. Keneged Moiser Chatos. So you have left over. You put you thought it cost $500, and you got a good deal. You got one for $350. So that extra $150 goes into this pushka of Moiser Chatos. The same thing, Moiser Rosham, Moiser Sham Nazir, Moiser Sham Mitzoira, Umoisar Minchas Choyte. And the leftover, when a chayta that doesn't have money, he brings a mincha. And here's the only nafkamina. Umoisar asiris ha'efa shekayin gadol. The kohen gadol every morning, every evening, every morning he brings a holy sorry and he splits it, divides it in half. So if he has leftover that day, that goes into the pushka. Yeah, I know you asked that question a lot. But Reb Shaya Omar, he wants to know physically how it works with the. So sometimes you bring money and you buy it you purchase from the Beis Hamikdash itself. Reb Shaya Omar, Keneged Moiser Chatos, Moiser Osham, Moiser Hasham Nazir, Moiser Hasham Mitzoyer, Moiser Kinim. Over here, he switches the Asira Seif of the Kohen Gadol with the birds. If a person owes birds, he's a Zav, let's say, so he's bringing birds when he becomes tar, the leftover money goes into the pushka of the birds. Umoisar Minchas Choyte. Okay. Ushmo Matayim Eloi Omar Kerbishaya. These 2, they argue only on one point. Is it the leftover for the birds or the leftover for the Kohen Gadol? So how come it doesn't say birds? If you look at the Mishnah says, Kinim, here, I'll even show you here if I can find. Oh, number 3. What's number 3? Kinim. It's in the Mishnah that there's a shofar for Kinim. Rabbi Shaya, Tani, what he says this Mishnah, Tani Kinim, what he doesn't have number 3 in his list. But Rabbi Shaya, Tani Kinim. We know that Rabbi Shaya says that number 3 in the list, or whatever number it is, one of the 13 shofars is Kinim. So he says, you're right, but Chad Kinim, Chad Moisar Kinim. There's one for birds and there's one for the extra that came off the birds. Rabbi Shaya, my time no, so how come he doesn't say that it's for the Kohen Gadol, that Asir Seif of the Kohen Gadol? He holds that it's supposed to go to waste. You don't put it away. Yirkav. Over here you see a little bit, not like I was telling you. All right, Yirkav. Left over, so maybe sell it. I don't know exactly. To sell that, maybe sell the flour and you take money. You certainly do not put flour in a shofar. I'm asking to you. I just heard yesterday we say, Lokel Yirotzu Kimincha Alma. What's Kimincha Al Machvas? What does it mean? He says the only mincha you bring on Shabbos is the Asir Seif of the Kohen Gadol, and it's in a machvas. That's what it's referring to. That's what he said. Okay, guy in the Kohen told me this. However, the Kohen Gadol Yirkav. The Sanya Moisar Minchas Nadava. Oh, so the Asir Seif of the Kohen Gadol, there's nothing you can do with it. It goes to waste. You have to let it spoil. The Sanya Moisar Minchas Nadava, Moisar Mincha Yirkav. My Kamar. What does it mean? Moisar Minchas Nadava, Moisar Mincha Yirkav. The leftover of the Minchas Choyte should be a Nedava. Moisar. So you say, if Kohen Gadol, Yirkav, there's a difference between the Chayta and the Kohen Gadol. Chayta, just put it in the Pushka. The Kohen Gadol's Isarin, let it go to waste. Oh, we had this one. I'll just show you. It's like not to get the sugi so much, just to remind the Ilam. From so many of these videos that we just got used to it. Oh, the music. Shut up. Yeah, fill in the Menachos, so the music. You saw of the Kohen Gadol. Morning, evening. It's a little bit more than what we learned, but just the idea. Okay. So the Gemara. He argues. He says, no, the leftover of the Kohen Gadol is in a dava. Ela moiser lachmi toida yirkav. The leftover of a lechem toida, if you can't finish all those 40 breads, that goes to waste. But plukta, it's actually machloikis. Moiser asir seifish Kohen Gadol, Rabbi Yochanan in a dava, Rabbi Lazar in yirkav. Whether or not the asir seif of the Kohen Gadol goes, you have to let it spoil or not. Meisvei. It says moiser shkalim chulin. If you have leftover shekel, you put aside a machzah shekel for people in your house, and you have leftover. What do you do with it? It goes out the chulin. It's 100% chulin. And it says umoiser asir seifa. That's what we're talking about right now. The leftover of the asir seifa. L'chayr, we're talking about that, which the Gemara is going to say no, we're not. It's something else. What else could it be? Moiser asir seifa seems like we're talking about the Kohen Gadol's asir seifa, and it says umoiser kinizavim v'kinizavais. A person who's a zav or a zava, kini yalda, a woman who gave birth. And it says mefurish, it goes to nedava. You don't let it get wasted. You don't let it rot. And it doesn't rot. That's also an asir seifa, and that's the one that you let go. Put to nedava. You could be doichek. You say that's what it's talking about. You don't have a raya. You don't have a concrete raya from here that the Kohen Gadol's leftover doesn't rot. It seems like the one who says that you let it spoil, the Sayer, because we learned in the pasuk, it says in the pasuk. Maybe it's korban shechata asir seifa. You see, it says mefurish in the pasuk about a minchas chayta that it's asir seifa, and it says v'leitin alei levayna. That's where Mendy said. What do you mean leitin chayta niskar? Okay. The Sanya, he. At the end it says he. I should have made the he red. Omer Rabbi Yehuda, he kru chatos, and you learn from this. Only this minchas chayta is called a chatos. A lot of the sugi has to do with the word chatos. Menacher is kru chatos, but nothing else is a chatos. In other words, the Kohen Gadol's mincha, although it's called a chatos, it's not a real chatos. Limit al asir seifish Kohen Gadol she'ena kru chatos tuna levayna. That is not called a chatos. And it does require levayna, and memeilo medeina kru chatos meisara yirkav. So you learn from a pasuk that the leftover of the Kohen Gadol is spoiled, goes spoiled. Now, I just want to tell you, there's a moridika good news for MDY. In the past, Kol Hashan gave us permission to use their art, their books. I spoke directly to the owner, and I got Rishus, and the owner, Rabbi Cohen, tremendous. He does this mamish l'shem shomayim. He told me on Yuma, I think it was $750,000 to produce that book. What? On Erevin, from his own money. He won't take a penny from anybody. It's his own thing. Then he had a Sukkah Fanal book, and then he came out with this book. Mamish, brand new. It's in the stores right now. Highly, highly recommended. Crazy amount of real pictures of every single thing we're going to be learning in Eli Stefansky, just phenomenal jobs. I told Benny, you got to call him up immediately and get permission, continue the permission. So he said, in the beginning, they said that we could use it for shir, no problem, and they'll give us the digital version, so we don't have to, I used to take pictures of, mamish, straight into the thing. However, for our new Gemara, they had a problem because they're coming out with their own Gemara. On Chulin and whatever. Okay, so Benny and my chavur said, you got to call him directly. Before I was able to call him, they called back and said, we changed our mind. We let you use it in your Gemara. So it's unbelievable. It's our new Chulin Gemara in Eli Stefansky. What's his name? Rav Levine, but what's Kohen? It says Kohen Levine. Okay, yeah, Levine, Rav Levine. So you should go to Rav Levine. Be'ez Hashem will try to give credit wherever we remember, but Kol Hashon, he sells it for bupkis. You could probably get this safe for $10 or something. I don't know, like a saver like this costs 100 shekel. He's chill 20 shekel. Stop. Like so he wants people to buy it. He wants people to have it. He does it l'shem shamayim to be mar b'tar in Klal Yisrael. So what? This is over $1 million shekel. Over $300,000 invested in this. I believe it. It takes a tremendous. What? They sell it everywhere in a farm store near you. I don't know if it's in America. Probably. Why not? Should be in America. Highly recommended. What?
I have 20 shekels.
No. You could buy from him for 20. I'm selling this for 300. This is valuable, my friend. Oh, and one last thing. Another Akar Satoiv. I just threw out in Shir that we're looking for sponsors for the screens. You can't imagine how many people called up to say, I want to sponsor. And we had to turn people away. Every single screen is sponsored, including these two front ones from my good friend that I went to visit. He's anonymous. I went to visit him in Florida. These screens, that's Peretz Chaim Levin. I don't think he wants me to keep him anonymous. I didn't ask him. These I don't know yet who, but every screen, the screen that's Be'ez Hashem going to come right over here for certain things so I could point onto the screen, sponsored. By the way, all those, I didn't say this, but all those people that wanted to sponsor screens, we have a shofar, the screen, the Moiser shofar. You have, anybody? Moiser, we're going to have a Moiser shofar. If there's extra money from the screens, put it in this thing. Yeah. Okay, Givaldik. What?
Make a picture of Mendy.
Mendy, whatever.
Screen of Mendy.
Too much picking on Mendy. Oh, what was the pasuk that Rabbi Willig used on me? Dalakta charai. Something like that. Ma pishu machadasiki dalakta charai. I was chapping in middle shir, all of a sudden he screams out. That's what you're thinking to yourself. We're doing good, we're doing good. Okay. 37 minutes into shir. That clock doesn't matter anymore. Says the Mishnah. Shor ze oila v'nistayv. I tricked the oilam in Hebrew. I want to see if I can trick you guys. What if a person says, Rabbi said, what if a person says, Harei olai oila. Harei olai oila. And if something happens to it, does he have to, so it gets stolen, does he have to bring another oila? Yes. And if he says Harei zu oila, so some of the Israelis didn't get the whole zoo thing. They know Nadav is zoo, but they didn't know Harei Olai. Like they were confused by they knew one part of it. They weren't so good at. Zoo is Nadava, a dive, Nadava. Yeah, but the Mishnah doesn't say. The Mishnah says Harei Shar Zeh. So what is that in Nadava? He points at the axe and says Zeh. Zu, zeh, same thing. Oila. So Mela, v'nistayv, and he got a mum. So what's that halacha if he gets a mum? It's not your responsibility. It's not, you said zeh. If something happens to zeh, if he drops dead this ox, you're not chayiv to bring another one. If it has a mum, you're not mechuyev. So Mela, if you go ahead and sell it, the money has kedusha. But you can do whatever you want with the money. You hear? You're not locked into this animal. This animal's gone. You sold it and the money has Kedusha. Okay, but it has nothing to do with the original. You're not mechuyev to bring the original. So you want to trade it and take with the money and do something else with it. In Ratzi, you bring two instead of one. You did the same thing. You pointed at these two oxes. These two should be an oila. And the nistav, when they fell a mum, if you want, you could, instead of two, you could bring one. What's better, 2 or 1? One animal that weighs 1,000 pounds or 2 animals that weigh 500 pounds? What's better? Huh? You say 1. Anybody with a 2? Anybody say 2? 2. He says 2. Rashi says 2 is always better than 1. Azizat Rashi. Rebbe is always oyster because Rebbe says you got to stick to what you said. Katan v'hevi gadol. If you promise you're going to bring a 10-pounder and you brought 1,000 pounds, which is 990 pounds more than what you promised, no good according to Rebbe because that is not your neder. Rebbe oyster. Really, Rebbe's only oyster lechatchila. You'll see Rashi. Rashi says the word lechatchila, but the eved. it's okay. Ayil ze oila, same thing. He said on a ram. This particular one is oil. V'nistayv and it got a mum. Im ratzo yavi b'dom of keves. If you want, now you go from a larger sheep, a mature one, to a baby. Keves ze oila v'nistayv. What if you pointed at a baby and you said, this sheep, and it has a mum? Im ratzo yavi b'dom of you can go large. V'Rebbe Oyser, because Rebbe says what? Cotton legadol is no good. Daf Kuf Chesam and Base, sponsored by Adar Global.
People there because he's not chayav by price.
Right, but what do you do with the money?
What does he do with that? He could say, okay.
Yeah, and then what?
Good day.
Not good day. You could technically say, I'm out of this. I'm out. But the right thing to do is to be paid. And now what do you do with the money? Now I could trade. Yeah. You most likely have some sort of chiyuv. You have an obligation. I'm not saying that the bezin could give you malchus, but you have some sort of obligation to the Beis Hamikdash to take care of this job. Then sell it. What are you going to let it die? Yeah, I don't know what the chiyuv is exactly, but turning of the daf, Adar Global Specialist International Financial Services, Chaim Milrad. Shah, we're in the middle of saying the sponsorship. Oh, so let me say it again because he didn't listen. Adar Global Specialist in International Financial Services. Chaim Milrad, Refuah Shlema, Imi Merossi, my mom, Frada Tabaschano, Besoich Shar Choli Yisrael.
I have one little keves, and that's what I want to give the best man. It gets a moment. Now I have to put out a packet of another $500 to redeem it?
No. You sell it. You go to the market. You go to the market. How much is this thing with a broken leg worth? They give you, instead of it costs you $350, they give you $200 because there's a moment. Now you take the $200. Now what? There's a kedusha in that money because the animal's kaddish. For sure, damim. There's no. This is a goof on a balmum.
Why do you have to buy a carpeting? Or you just buy bedek take the bedek.
No, that's what you do. You always take the money in all situations. You take the money, buy oilers with it. You do. Every time the ketzem mizbeach money. That's ketzem mizbeach money. Amris Reisha. We learned in the Reisha shar b'mano yesterday. Shar b'mano ve'hevi shnayim b'mano. If a guy, he promises he's going to bring one animal worth 100. And he goes and he buys two animals, each one is worth 50. 50 plus 50 equals 100. Lo yatsa. What's the obvious answer to this question, Rabbi Yisai? No. Much better answer. What?
Yes, yatsa. We just read that it's yatsa.
Hold on. V'amis reisha. Shar b'mana v'hevi shnayim b'mana lo yatsa. Last minute, not today. We learned yesterday. If a guy promises an animal for 100 and buys two that have the same value, or even two that each one is worth 99, two 99ers are not worth 100. So how come now you say that you could take an animal that's worth 100 and sell it off and buy two? Well, say it better. You have to say much better. Oh. In our case, there's a mum, and Memela, has no achrayus on it anymore. Over there, he promised 100, and nothing happened in between, and he went and he took 250s. 250s doesn't equal 100. Says the Gemara, Shor Zev v'nistayv shani. V'nistayv, it became a balmum. So it became a balmum, you can do whatever you want with the money. Oh, by the way, just to calm the oilam down, Mendy, calm down. We're trying to get to the Mishnah only.
Okay, so let's see more videos.
Okay, we will. You want more videos? Let's see if we have any. Okay, you don't want to see it. You asked for it, but whatever. I'm going to have Rahmanas. That guy, this is a pel. I'm not going to show this video. The guy that jumped into the water and came down the slide, and he told me that with the slide it took him, I don't remember, 20 takes, and he's not exaggerating. 6 takes with the water, and he's not exaggerating. He stayed at this guy's house. This is a Karel guy. Oh, he's a Rebbe in Cheder. He stayed in his house till 1:30 in the morning to help him make the video. He's not featured in the video. He just told him what to say, how to say it. So I said, why? You're going to split the profit? He says, I want another person to join Torah. That's what I want. That's all I care. If a guy points at 2, and he says, these should be an oila, 2 should be an oila, and it befell mum, you can go trade the money from the 2 and buy 1. The Rebbe, even on that, Rebbe says, also. Why? Why do you say it's also? My time. Because when you go from 2 to 1 over here, Rashi says the Yisoid, Rashi Dibur Hamaskil, Gadol Vevi Katan, Shebachol Makom Shnayim Chashuvim Meyechad, Vafil Shneim Shavim. Where is 1 better than 2 in our life, in our day? Diamonds, very good. Diamonds. Wives. 1 is better than 2? Yes. Well, you're talking from experience. Very good. You can't just say it. You just can't make up. Wine, Rabbi say wine. A magnum is much more valuable. 1 bottle that has 2 bottles in it is much more valuable today than 2 bottles. It makes a lot of sense. I spoke to them because it lasts much longer. Much, much longer. Yes, I'm not going to say the names of the bottles that I like, but the typical bottle that I like, after 10 years, you can't even drink it anymore. But if it's a magnum, it lasts at least double. It's made differently. It has less oxygen in it. You're right, it doesn't make sense, but that's just the way it's a mitzias. It has less oxygen. The glass is thicker. Big kids are... Huh? The Koilo guys? Oh, that. They don't know. Wine is one thing they don't understand about. They'll tell you that 4 shekel bottle is better than the... Yeah. And I'm talking from experience.
Tell me which wine you like so I can tell them.
Zog the Gemara. My time is shum the Havale Godel Vevi Cotton. Now I chap. It's all coming together. That's why you took my wife last night out of the house the whole day. There's nothing for you. It's not between me and him. My time is shum the Havale Godel Vevi Cotton. Vav I got in the stove. Oh, so you hear what's going on here? You take 2. You promised 2 and you bought 1. So it's going from something special, 2 special, says Rashi, to 1. So it's like going from a large thing to a small thing. But lemaisa, I don't understand. It's not your responsibility anymore. It has a mum. You can do whatever you want with it. Rebbe says even in such a case, it looks bad. It looks like I'm throwing that in. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's not your achrayas, but it looks like you're going from a large thing to a small thing in the Beis Hamikdash. No good. As the Gemara of the first case, when it's a 1 to 2, you're telling me 2 animals is better than 1. So Rebbe should argue even in the first case. If I go from 1, it has a moo.
It says, "Gam ha'emer harezu chalalav choivas hava'a." It's our parshas nedarim. Just do not chayv b'achrayas. It's like you were saying earlier. There's
you mean earlier?
Some chiyuv towards
some chiyuv, okay.
This animal.
Okay, something. I don't know what. It's some sort of responsibility if the animal has a mom. He's going back to before. Okay, so in the reverse case, he went from 1 to 2. 2, you're telling me, is great. Only in magnums did this, but in 2 to 1 is great. I'm sorry, 1 to 2. 1 to 2 is a good thing. That's the first case in the Mishnah. 1 to 2. A mum happened to 1 shar and you got 2 shvarim. How come Rebbe doesn't argue there? Says the Gemara, Rebbe does argue there. Rebbe Akula Milsa Polig. So why didn't you hear from him? Because Rebbe has manners. He waited patiently until Chacham said everything that they had to say. And then he argued one argument. They said, listen, you cannot change either way, from good to bad, from bad to good. Don't ever change what you said. One of my good friends, Mamish, the other day told me a story. He was saying that, when he first got married, so he always had these ideas, and his wife kept on knocking. They had these arguments about his ideas. He says, just the other day, and the guy's married for 30 plus years now, just the other day, he goes to his wife, he says, I have a great idea. She looks at him, she says, no! He says, a Maisa Shaya, no! He didn't say anything, no! I had enough of your listen to my ideas, yeah. So let the guy finish, let him finish the sentence, and then argue with him. It's the first. And a Maisa Shaya with me yesterday, because I gave this shir last night, and a guy asked to meet with me, so I met with him, and he spoke. And I remember the Gemara, I do this anyway, but it was just, and he was speaking and speaking and speaking from his heart. I think it was maybe 40 minutes. At the end, I actually had to interrupt. I didn't know what to do. Like I said, okay, but it's not the right thing. Let me just hear everything he has to say. He was speaking from his heart and going on and on. And he wasn't repeating himself. New things and new... Okay, tachlis, lamaisa. Okay. This is Gemara. Let him finish. Zok the Gemara. Sorry. Teda. And now I'll prove to you. Very, very good raya over here. The Ktani, that's not important to us. What's important is this one. Keves. Keves is the cheapest animal you could buy from all the korbanos. It's a baby sheep. That costs how much did you say? $75 you were saying before. How much?
75 to 200.
The baby. Let's call it a 75er. Okay, the least possible, a little tiny one just born. V'nistav, Keves and he points out and he says this is oil, $75, big gvir, giving $75 carbon. If v'nistav and then it went bad and it got a mum, rotza yavi b'dama vayil. He could go buy the expensive one. How much is the expensive one, Eli? 500. He could go get the 500er. V'rebi oiser. Oh, so you see the mefurish a case where you're going from really bad to really good, and Rebbe says no. Even in that case, no. So you see, he does argue in every single case of the Mishnah, even going from one animal to two, which is bad, to good, according to Rashi. Two is better, argue, Shema Minah.
That's why he only said at the end.
Yeah.
You wanted to say one thing.
Yeah, he said it all the way at the end. But I'm proving to you that he actually holds this, because it says over here, Rebbe Oyser. In this case, he did argue. What?
Because he says one, just one, not two, right? So he only said one argument.
Okay. I'm not 100% copying. 1, 2. Iboilu. Mimina lamina mai. So this we did discuss a little bit, and it's interesting. Can I replace, my animal has a mum, can I replace a very expensive cow with two medium-priced sheep? I'm going from a different animal. Toshma, shorza oilav v'nistav. I promise to bring a bull and it has a mum. Lo yavi b'dam of ayil. Don't bring a small little ayil, it's way too small. Ava maybe b'dam of shneilim. You could bring two. Rabbi Yoiser lefishein bila. So before we jump into Rebbe, what do Chacham say? It's okay to go from a bull to a ram. You can bring a ram instead of a bull. So that's okay. That answers our question. 2 rams. 2, yeah. I don't care how many. I'm going to, but a different type. Rebbe says it's also why? Because when you bring 2 rams, you have to bring a mincha per ram. It's 2. So now you have 2 menachos. You promised 1 mincha, 1 carbon. Now you bring 2. They don't mix. Doesn't go well. Shema mina. Now, I have a question for you. What if we actually just said it? But let's think about it. A guy promised a $3,000 cow, and it has a mum. Can he replace it with a $500 sheep? 1 sheep. That's the question. So that's the Gemara Hachi, my area tray. Why does he have to replace it with 2? Afilu chanami. He should be yoitza yidei chayva with 1. Why? You already told me you could bring a small one instead of a large one. And you already told me that you could go from one type of animal to another type of animal. So if you go from a large to a small, from 2 animals to 1, which is large to small, and you could go from a cow to a goat. So bring 1 goat instead of 1 cow. What's the difference? You go from large to small. And you can go to a different min. So let's replace 1 whole cow with 1 ayil. Why do you need 2 aylim? It's a big kasha. It's a very good kasha. Says Gemara, you told me that there's no difference. You can replace a small one with a large one because anyways it's not your achrayas. And you just established that you can go from one type of animal to another one. So 1 ayil is instead of 1 cow. What's the problem? So you're right. You're 100% right. In the Mishnah, the Tana really holds that there's no difference between a large and a small. But over here, he'll hold that it is a problem. Rebbe Yoisel Lefisha in Bila. Time of day in Bila. You tell me the whole reason is because you can't mix two elim. That's why you can't replace 2 with 1 cow. Oh, Yesh Bila. Sorry. What if you don't have to mix it? It'll be okay. But what happens if 1 ram got a mum? If you want, you can bring a smaller sheep. And then what about keves oila? He said on the smallest animal possible, he says this should be an oila. What you could replace a small sheep with a very large sheep. And that's only one mincha, one bila. And what does Rebbe say? Rebbe Oyser. Why does Rebbe say it's aser? It's mashma that if it's equal in terms of the menachos, how many menachos and how many bilos you have to do, it's okay. So why does Rebbe say it's aser? You're right. In the Mishnah he says it's aser. Over here it'll come out that it's mutter. Ubet the animal that doesn't have a mum, egel ve'evi par. If he made a neder to bring something small, a calf, and he instead brought something large, you think it's great. Keves ve'evi ayil, yatza. And that goes stomach rabbanon, because Rebbe would hold, even in such a case, when you go larger, it's aser. Rotza yavi b'dam of shnayim. Omer Rabbi Nazir Vid over Rav. Omar shor ze oila. When a person says, I have zero achrayis, I don't take responsibility. Omar shor ze olai. You hear what happened there? Over here he said zeh, but olai. It's like a contradiction. This, but upon myself. So which one is it? A neder, how do you say neder? Hare olai oila. How do you say nedava? Hare zu. And what if he mixes the two words? He says one word after the other. Zeh olai. Hukba. You have achrayis, you locked in. Ask the Gemara, who told you? Maybe he meant zu, it should be in nedava, I have zero achrayis. But I'll bring it, I'll take care of it. Elo, you're right. Even if he says the two lashonis together, no achrayis. Rabbi said the Gemara is masking, no achrayis. If I take a responsibility on the money, then he has a responsibility because he took responsibility on the money, not on the animal. Rabbi say, have a wonderful day.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDY.com.